Hello Juggalos, welcome to Moe'S CD Culture Show and Tell, and on today's episode, it's about Insane Clown Posse, and this show tonight is dedicated to my brother Chris, who was the first one who introduced me to the Insane Clown Posse in the first place, which I will get to that story in due time. If you could see his collection, he has a mega collection. When I do these presentations, a little disclosure here, when I do these presentations, I'm not giving you a history lesson on the band. I don't always necessarily have the entire collection of a band, but I do try to get the essentials. What I am showing you is what I have and my personal relationship with those albums and what they mean to me. And the way I got introduced to Insane Clown Posse through my brother is kind of special in a way. I thought for the longest time that it was his favorite band, but apparently it's not. And as you can see, I'm also wearing some fresh gear, my Hatchet Man. I got the Joker cards on this hat here, and I'm also wearing a black Hatchet Man earring, just for measure. Also, this episode is dedicated secondly to Behringer Bynes and Larry Cowan from the Trash Talkers, Rappers React. Check out their channel on YouTube. They're great guys. They're the only people I Patreon. They're the only channel I Patreon. I love them equally. They're awesome. You should check them out for sure. So, but before I continue, I just have a couple of guests that just wants to introduce themselves very quickly. Just a second. You got Violent J here, and a Shaggy Two-Dope. Oof. How about that, everybody? Isn't that cool? Anyway, to get on with it, now we're going to show you the very first album I was introduced. When I first came back to Moncton after living in Montreal for some time, my brother wanted to introduce me to, he was showing me his collection, and I asked him, well, what can you recommend me to lend me for the night, and to listen to in that. So he gives me this, Bang Pow Boom, which is the first CD I actually got, which was given to me because he ended up getting a deluxe edition of the album. But I took this home, and I remember, he had lent it to me, and I remember when I put it on the first time, and I was laying down in the bed, and I was just had the earphones on, and I was relaxed and just kind of taking it all in. And it's catchy, and it had me, and I completely understand the whole horror, what is it called, horror rap culture of this. I understand their stick. You don't take them seriously. It's all for fun. It's not to be taken seriously. It's like, it's more like horror. They call it horrorcore, and it's like, it's like the horror movie version of rap music, and they're talented rappers. I really like, especially Violent J more than Shaggy Two-Dope. But being an Insane Clown Posse fan, you start learning all about them after a while. And this, of course, the clowns, they're back. And there's different versions of this album. You can find the album with different tracks. And my brother has, the deluxe one that has every version of every song that you could want on all that. So he has it all in one big box set. I just have the one CD, the green face with the silver back. There's a couple of different ones that have just a couple of different tracks, but it goes. But the big starting track is In Your Face, which they have a cool video that's in your face. the bone, zombie slide, to catch a predator, boing boing, I found a body, love, Fonz Ponds, I'ma kill you, Juggalo Island, Vultures, Vera Lee, Miracles, which they got hassled for that song video, people didn't understand where they were coming from, what point of view they were singing, so they kind of made fun of them for that, but they shouldn't have. And then the final title track, Bang Pow Boom. Now, when you listen to this album, I had to stop it about halfway through. I got to maybe about just after Fonz Pond, and I had to stop it, and I had to listen to and then played the rest of it the next day, and I wanted to continue it, but I didn't. But as I was playing through the album, it has such. And remember, this is my first time really hearing a full album of Insane Clown Posse. I didn't start with any other album. My brother lent me this one to start off. Out of all the albums, I'm still not exactly sure why, but it has such an ominous, creepy, like gradual creepy factor in the background, that just creeps in the background of your mind as you're listening to it. As catchy as it is, it's kind of, and you don't know, it's just that deep sense of uneasiness. I still love this album. I still could put it on and jam out to it, no problem, here and there. It's really a great album. But that creepiness, that really kind of stuck in my mind. But as you go along and listen to it, you kind of get into it, and it's not as creepy as it seemed at first. But that first time listening to it, yeah, it was really just ominous and gave me like chills and goosebumps. So continue. I'm going to present my favorite, and probably most people's favorite, Insane Clown Posse album, because it has such a rockin' vibe, and they just never really ever duplicated that again. And that is The Great Milenko. This is a fantastic album. If you're not privy to The Great Milenko, I mean, every track, the intro and I believe that's Alice Cooper as doing the intro. Then you got The Great Milenko, Hocus Pocus, Piggy Pie, How Many Times, Southwest Voodoo, Halls of Illusions, Under the Moon, What is a Juggalo, House of Horrors, Boogie Woogie Woo, The Nedden Game, Hallelujah, Down with the Clowns, Just Like That, and Pass Me By. Every track is rocking, and when you listen to this doesn't have that creepy vibe as it's going through. It's not, when you're listening to Bang Pow Boom, you realize as you're going through that, okay, they're setting you up for a big payoff, for a big conclusion at the end of the album. And I kind of had to repose myself overnight a little bit before I could continue with it. But this was just a cool rocket jam the whole way through. This is the album that I would just start with. I don't know why he didn't give me this one first to start with. He had it there in his collection. No, he just passes me Bang Pow Boom. Like, what the, But, I mean, having said about The Great Milenko, this is probably my close second, okay, along with maybe Hell's Pit, which I don't have and would love to get. But it's the Jekyll Brothers. Yeah, the amazing Jekyll Brothers. And it's a pretty cool case. You see how red that is. It's kind of loose. I should have been a little bit more careful with that. Ooh. So I just kind of want to show you the cover like that. And there's Violent J and Shaggy 2 Dope. And yeah, it's a great album. All the tracks are good. It's kind of, the concept of it is it's split up in two. There's the first half, I think, is with maybe the first half is with is more about because it's Jake Jekyll. So the first part would be with Violent J. Then bring it on. I want my poop. I won't say the actual word, even though I probably could. Even the next track, I won't say it. It's like, I'll try to slang it, little biatch, Or then number 6, Terrible. I stab people, which you shouldn't be doing. Another love song, and Everybody Rise. Play With Me. And then, then you get into the second half, which introduces Jack Jekyll. Which is probably the Shaggy 2 Dope side, if I remember correctly. But then you have but the next song, is Violent J with F the World, which is it was just my favorite track, of course, on it because it's so in your face. It's so like uncensored and just raw, and that's kind of like the world should be more like that sometimes. We're too squeamish for our own good, humanity. We should be a little less squeamish, a little less offended. I find people get way too offended too easily nowadays. Now you really got to watch what you say on the internet and anywhere. You don't want people to take anything out of context, which people are ready to jump on to. These have parental guidance warning stickers on them for a reason, okay, and that's fine. It's good to have. You do want to be, you do some parroting, but you don't want to limit people's, creative free speech. No matter how vile somebody might think of it. There's things that offend me in this world, but I can't. I shouldn't be offended. I don't have the right to be offended because everybody has a right to live and to think how they want, as long as it doesn't harm other people. As long as it, you can think whatever you want. Just don't hurt people. Don't lie, cheat, and steal. Don't hurt other people. But people can believe whatever they want. It makes no difference to me. I can believe whatever I want, and I'm a juggalo. Plain and simple. So, the next album I'm going to present is actually really, really cool. I love it. It's a good album, except for maybe the third track, But it starts. It's the I got the red pop version of the Mighty Death Pop. So if you don't know. For those who do, that's great. But for those who don't know, they made 3 different versions of this. And what's cool is that the main disc itself... Oh, no, wrong one. The main disc itself is one of those 3D things that, that explodes. It has 3... it gets closer and then... Bow, how well you can see that, yeah, it works from left to right. So that's the Mighty Death Pop, and it has the intro, has the Mighty Death Pop, Night of the Chainsaw, which is a wickedly cool video that I really love. Then there's that controversial, some people are pretty divisive about this song when you talk to some Juggalo fans who are also wrestling fans. The one they did about Chris Benoit. Some people feel that it's kind of out of taste for them to do this song. But then you got the Blaster, then Kickin', Bazooka Joey, Shooting Stars, Juggalo Juice, Hate Her to Death, Scream featuring Tech 9 and Hobson. Then Ghetto Rainbows, which is one of my personal favorites on there. When I'm Clownin', Dog Catcher, Daisy, Where's God, and Forever. So if you don't know, there's 3 different versions of this. You get, which I have, the red pop, which has Smothered, Covered, and Chunked, which is cover songs. All the cover songs that they do. And it has great cover songs, by the way. You know, it has Jump Around, which is, of course, we all know of as a well, they do Shamrocks and Shenanigans too. They're House of Pain, yeah. Then you got Shout, Ain't No Future in Frontin', Hold Still, Bitch Better Have My Money, Night of the Living, Bassheads, Beautiful, Indestructible, Mind Playing Tricks on Me featuring ADH and Little White. Then there's State of Shock, Love for Them Gangsters featuring Cold 187 and then Guess My Religion. So they, if people don't know, they kind of revealed themselves that they're kind of religious, you know. They believe in God and everything, but everything that they do is dedicated to the butterfly. Just keep that in mind. And they have a particular story about that. Well, this is the red one. So there are, like I said, we have the covered, Smothered, Covered, and Chunked. But the black pop one, there's a black pop, and that has Freaky Tales. And Freaky Tales is an hour-long song where they're basically just talking about the women they've dated in the past. All kinds of, you know, naming them each name. And like, this song's about Mary, she's this and that. And this song's about Betty, she's, you know. I don't know the song by heart. I only heard the song maybe twice or 3 times. I mean, it's an interesting thing. And you think, okay, an hour-long song. How can they keep an hour-long song going and keep it interesting? They do. They find a way. Because every couple of bars, the music changes up and it gets a little bit more interesting, but then you're also captivated by what's he going to talk about next? Who is he going to mention next? You know, it's not a bad concept for an hour-long song. And then you get the white pop, which has Mikey Clark's Extra Pop Emporium, which is extra songs that he did. But this is actually, I wanted the red one, of course, because I needed these cover songs. But if I ever get a chance to get the black pop cover, you know, which is it's all black, and then you get the white pop, which is all white. It is a fantastic collection. Now, I don't want this to go past 20 minutes, so I'm going to get some closing on here. I would really love it if you could actually press like on my videos and leave me a comment and tell me how to improve these videos, or any kind of constructive criticism you want to throw at me. I'm ready to take it. I'll take any of your questions or any of your attacks, whatever. I'll take it all. I don't mind. And so, once again, I bid you a good day, evening, or night, wherever you may be. Take care. Be safe, everybody, and I'll see you on the flip side. Bye-bye.